Are you about to watch this video and you're not liked and subscribed to it? Like the video, please. Just go down. It's right there. It's right there.
I did. I hit it. I hit it. Have you hit it?
Welcome back to Starting Nine. Episode 263. Dallas cannot lift his left arm.
I just hit my funny bone right now, and my arm is in so much pain from 2 days ago. This fucking is miserable right now. My fingers legit feel like they're being used to make s'mores in a blue, hot, burning campfire flame right now.
Yeah. We just got back from Iowa. It was a hell of a trek. Some of it unnecessary, people are saying.
That's the rumor.
Some people are saying part of the commute was unnecessary. We fucking flew to Chicago on Thursday, and then from Chicago drove 4 hours to Cedar Rapids.
Yeah. Shout out Mattress Firm.
Yeah, it's just did not feel necessary. They're like, why are we doing this? Oh, to get content. And I was like, out of the 4 hours we were in the car, I think words were spoken maybe for 20 minutes total.
Yeah, it happened real early when Carl got absolutely
bodied,
just straight bodied by King Karen on the road. 10 minutes into the ride.
Yeah, she was not having it either.
No, Carl tried to merge ever so easily. Nay. Karen fucking floored that Astro van, and Carl had no shot.
Yeah, it was a sad showing for Carl. We get there Thursday. We take the tour of the house, the Field of Dreams house. On Friday, record the Starting Nine episode, the post-trade deadline episode. A lot of action on that one. If you haven't listened to episode 262, I would advise going back and checking that one out. That was a very meaty episode with everything that went down at the trade deadline. Saturday was the Barstool Barn Burner. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it was Team Starting Nine. Dallas and I drafted our team. Team Redline Radio, Carl and Dave drafted their team. It was basically just a bunch of listeners to both podcasts sending in videos of themselves to make a case to be drafted for this one game played at the Field of Dreams in Iowa. We crushed the draft, absolutely dominated the draft.
Crushed.
And then we get out there. We got Eric Sim on the mound, just blowing cheese in the first inning. I think he went 2 innings.
Yeah, he went two. He went two. 90, 92.
The King of JUCO. Check out his YouTube channel. He's a fucking gem. And you know, it was looking pretty good for Team Starting Nine for quite some time. I mean, like people know the results now. Like for whatever reason, like we have like the video coming up, but they've already like released the results of the game. Dallas, do you want to take us through the ninth?
I'd love to take us through the ninth.
Yeah.
I've got some theories here that I've been developing as well.
Okay. You think it's an inside job?
I absolutely think it's an inside job.
Was the shortstop a Redline Radio guy?
You fucking know it.
Wow.
Not only was he a Redline Radio guy, doesn't follow you, doesn't follow me on Twitter, follows Dave and Carl.
Ooh.
And had made play after play after play after play that day. Did he not?
Yeah, it was a very defensively sound game for Team Starting Nine until that play, yeah.
Final inning, final out of the ball game. White Sox Dave at the dish. Get him to roll over weekly, ground ball. We're celebrating. The shortstop 73 hopped it over to first base.
Wow.
Just a completely
Which
errant,
guy was that?
He was one of our first picks. One of our early picks.
What was like his characteristic that stood out? Like everyone had like a thing.
No, I honestly, I think his thing was he was one of the best athletes there. Like that, I was like, we're gonna play. He played.
Was he the dude that like just didn't send in any baseball stuff? It was just him like benching and like squatting.
No, I don't think so. Are you sure that wasn't our catcher?
I don't know.
Rob was fucking a hoss back there.
Yeah. I mean, that's he doesn't he's on Team Starting Nine, doesn't follow us, follows Dave and Carl, and then we have a 4-run lead in the 9th inning. Dallas gets White Sox Dave to roll one over to short, and he not just like he fired it away to where Dave got the extra base.
Yeah. Yeah, like it kept going. Like there was, merry-go-round just kept running. There's fucking runs. I mean, we're one pitch away.
That was it.
I got the ground ball. I got
Wow.
the ground ball.
So I think for the Barstool Barn Burner next year, we're gonna have to do like some
background
in-depth-
checks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be some background checks. There's got to be some due diligence done. And it hurts me to even think that we could be there, Jared. It pains me. Because he was a standout. In my mind, he played a great ball game. He was there early. His mom and dad got to take a little tour of the house, I guess. So yeah, if we're putting this on either, if it's between my ability to execute and the potential for him have thrown,
You did your job. You're inducing ground balls there.
I did my job. We all know I'm not here for the swing and miss. I'm here to miss the barrel.
Yeah. And
That's
I
exactly
think
what I did.
what was weird too was, like you have Team Starting 9 versus Team Redline Radio, and then you forget that you drafted these teams, and it wasn't just like, hey, I signed up for these teams. So at the end of the game, one of the dudes from the Redline Radio team came up to me, and I'm expecting to get chirped or whatever, and he was like, hey, man, like, I don't even really listen to Redline Radio. I'm a huge Starting 9 guy, and like I wanted to get involved in this game, and like unfortunately got picked by Redline. And it's like, wait a second, like there's definitely like Starting 9 diehards over there,
Yeah.
and not realizing that there's Redline diehards over here.
And we didn't even think about that.
Didn't even think about it. I
Didn't even dawn on me. Like I'm thinking everybody here just to have a good time, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily the case.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had that all brought to my attention. So I was like,
Interesting.
So there was some other people who had questions about that as well.
Imagine getting drafted by Team Starting 9 to play at the Barstool Barn Burner at the Field of Dreams and not even following your two captains.
Yeah, kind of weird.
That's like, I mean, you know what else is weird? Aaron Judge doesn't follow the Yankees on Instagram. That's weird.
Ooh.
Isn't that weird?
That's very weird. That's like one of the first things you do, right?
Yeah.
Social content wise,
Right.
like especially if you're a quote unquote face of the game, as
Yeah.
Aaron Judge has been labeled throughout his career. Like there's no way you're just not lock and step with your organization.
Right. Like
this
I
is
could
a
I could see Anthony Rizzo not throwing the Yankees a follow. It's like, all right, I'm a rental. I'm not like getting super in bed with this team, but like Aaron Judge is the face of the Yankees and he doesn't even follow the Yankees on Instagram. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes into it, they had everybody in right field wearing judges' robes and giving away gavels and stuff. And now, like, just not even the acknowledgement, not even like, oh, yeah, Yankees have a Twitter. I follow them. Nope.
I'm going to check right now to see.
When's the last time the Yankees posted a picture of Aaron Judge on Twitter? I'm sure that happens a lot.
Sure. I mean,
That's not
their social, whoever their social person is, they fucking suck. I mean, their last post is Aaron Judge.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Their literal last post is Aaron Judge. And it's not even like he's one of those weirdos that only follows like 20 people. Like, you know those people. They're like, oh, yeah, I got like 1 million followers and I only follow like 26 people. Aaron Judge follows a very normal 952 people. Like, that's like a... That's
Is that
probably where I'm at, like around like 952. Like if you follow over 900
is that
people,
on Instagram?
Yep. If you follow over 900 people, that's like I'm not cognizant or I don't care too much about the ratio. Like I don't want to be following over 1,000 people. Like I want to keep it low. Like he's not keeping it low. 952 is a lot. You're telling me that you don't have room for
Yeah, I
the
follow
team that you play for?
I follow just over 1,100 accounts on Instagram.
I follow 943 accounts.
And I'd venture to guess easily 300 to 500 of those are marijuana accounts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I can tell you right now that I follow Starting 9
yeah,
on
so
Instagram.
do I. I follow Starting 9. I follow, I believe I follow Barstool. I follow
Barstool.
Yeah. So Starting 9 is really where you can cut that tie off. Though that like,
That's the team I play for.
yeah.
And
So there's some question marks. The ninth inning though didn't go as planned
No.
because I was ready for a beer shower. I was ready to cement that, but you know you got to play defense.
Got to play defense. By the way, I mean, it was set up. It couldn't have been more perfect than the setup that happened for like the baseball gods were smiling upon the Barstool barn burner because the whole plan was we had this kid out there for the 9th inning. It was a 6-2 lead. 6-2 in the 9th inning for team starting 9. We send this kid out there who loaded the bases, and the plan was 2 outs or White Sox Dave, we're going to Dallas.
Yep.
Whichever comes first, 2 outs or White Sox Dave. And I believe with the bases loaded, we got the second out to bring White Sox Dave to the plate.
Correct.
He punched someone out for the second out, and then that brought White Sox Dave to the plate with 2 outs, bases loaded. I go get Dallas for the perfect ending to this ball game. And I mean, lo and behold, I mean, it was almost like the whole thing was scripted because
It was perfect.
Because White Sox Dave hit a ball to the red line radio mole. He could have hit that ball anywhere. Like, let's not sit here and say that White Sox Dave has the hitting ability to just place the ball where he wants to against a former big leaguer. That's not happening.
Not at all. Not at all. So, does feel like the ball quite literally bounced their way at the most opportune time.
It really did. I mean, do we have this guy's information? Like, can we interrogate him on this?
I feel like we need to. We absolutely need to. It's going to be so. And I'll say this, serious note. Didn't see him after the game. Didn't see him like at the bar out with everybody. There were 29 players out at the bar after the game. 29. You know how many players we had total?
How many?
30.
Well, I wasn't there.
You're not one of the players we drafted.
Right.
Yeah. So 30 players again that were drafted.
Yep. 29 of them showed
of
out
them.
except for the mole. Imagine if he just threw that in the fucking dirt and then Redline Radio ties it and then he just rips off the team starting 9 jersey and he's got a Redline Radio shirt on. Like, I would respect that.
Absolutely. I would be 1,000% here for that.
Yeah.
That right there is respectable because what I was very disappointed in, and I knew this about White Sox Dave. I knew there were shenanigans about him when he asked if they could get their bats a little earlier. White Sox Dave asked, hey, I know we got bats coming out. I know you got equipment getting sent out. Is there any way that we can get ours like when they first get here? I was like, that's kind of an odd request, I guess, but whatever, Dave, that's fine. Yeah, sure, you can get your bat. So made sure that he and Carl got their bats right as they came in. So I'm guessing he took those bats home with him, but he took one swing. He fouled the ball off in our bat, and I was looking at the bat, and I could just tell there was – and then I heard it, and I was like, no. Something's up here. Something is amiss. And I gave it the test. Nope. The pitch was off. Tried to get into it. Tried to get into the bat. Shout out to Birdman Bats for making concrete wood bats because that thing was damn near unbreakable. We eventually found out that White Sox Dave corked his fucking bat.
It wasn't just corked. It was one of the most like I've seen like the Sammy Sosa corked bat.
Right.
It had corked shavings in it. I mean, his bat looked like a goddamn bottle of wine.
It had actual full-size corks in it.
Yeah.
Like drilled and buried down into that's a professional job. It's a pro job.
Yeah.
So I can understand why he wanted the bats early. Now I get it. Now it makes sense. So I knew, like, and that's the other thing. Not only did they plant a mole out there at shortstop, they got White Sox Dave using a fucking super cheap bat, a cork piece, trying to do damage. Baseball gods wouldn't allow it, though.
No.
Didn't give him the W.
Did not get the W. And I feel like a lot of people are saying that Redline Radio won. No. We just played 11 innings, and the umpires had put in enough time.
Well, the umpire actually, and shout out to the umpire, he was like, hey, I was supposed to be calling another game. I'm on the bases for that game. But it looks like they're in the second inning right now. I'm not going to make that.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, shit. I mean, they had other stuff going on at the Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
That was scheduled for after our ball game. And nicely enough, those folks were like, hey, we're having a good time watching you guys right now. Do you? We'll get in what we're going to get in a little later. It's okay. So they were nice enough to kind of let us keep playing those extra innings. And really, the only thing that didn't go as seamless and smooth as possible was us having a contingency plan for good baseball. Like, I felt like Bud Selig out there. Like, holy shit. All right, it's a tie ball game, and nobody's screwing this up right now. What do we do? What do we do? All right, Derby. Let's go Derby.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to negotiate an impromptu, small-scale home run derby in an effort to try to give somebody a victory somehow, some way. It wasn't able to happen with the ball game, so, hey, let's see if we can bang some baseballs into the corn and come up with a victor.
And they, quote-unquote, won. It was
Yeah.
3v3, total home runs. Redline Radio won the home run derby, but they didn't win the game. And they certainly didn't win the integrity contest. We know
God,
that
no.
for a fact.
God, no.
So,
All
yeah,
the line.
I've got questions for that fucking shortstop. I want his name. I want him on this podcast. I want to ask him what went down.
Yep.
Pretty fucked up. I think I had a heat stroke. Like,
I got to be honest. There were times where you were sitting down. Like, I was, I think I was out in left field, actually. And it was early on. And I feel like that's when you started to, like, you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to try to power through this.
yeah.
Don't know if I'm well prepared, because there were times you were sitting down on the bench and I could see you, like, just evaluating life.
Yeah.
Like,
Head in my
what the
hands. I was like,
fuck
dude, we're
am-
winning. It's like, no.
why do I feel this way?
So after the game was, I mean, like, I probably pounded like 4 Gatorades, but I don't think it made a difference. And obviously, I got absolutely roasted by the sun. Big time lobster vibes. My neck is
One
Elmo
arm
red.
roasted. That's
One
the
arm
best.
roasted because I put sunscreen literally only on my tattoos. And then had this pounding headache to where I couldn't even open my eyes. And I stayed, like, wanted to, like, say what's up to everyone on the other side and, you know, we did all the pictures and everything. We did a closing video. And then when we got to the hotel, I got out of the car and, like, my max speed was 97-year-old grandmother. Like, I couldn't walk. So I was, like, hobbling down the hall to get to my hotel room.
Legs shaking.
Yeah, and then, like, I got into my hotel room and, like, I'm obviously disgustingly sweaty. So I had 2 beds. The bed on the left was the one I slept in the night before. The one on the right had, like, my suitcase and a bunch of, like, fucking clothes and trash on it. And I was like, I'm just going to lay down for a second in this bed full of trash, and then I'll shower and whatever. I laid down at 8 o'clock and just passed out. And I slept for, like, 12 hours. I was dead. I was a dead body.
You were gone. He gone.
Yeah, there was a 0% chance I was making it out with the team after.
I mean,
I
it
left
was
it
a
all
really,
on the field.
You did. You left it all on the field. It was a great time. It was a great scene after. That was really cool. And for the folks, again, you'll see the video. One of the coolest parts of what we did all weekend long came during that home run derby. And we just asked all the kids that were there,
Yeah.
waiting for their turn to go play, waiting for their turn to do their skills competition, and brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews of folks who were out there. Families came out to watch the game, which was really awesome.
Some people
And-
traveled 15 fucking hours.
Jared, like, I've thought about posting some of the DMs that I've gotten, because they've made me feel like this is why we do it.
Right.
Like, I'm even getting a little emotional thinking about it right now, because I had a parent reach out and was like, I don't think you understand what you've done for my son. And, like, you've brought him back. Like, we've had a different kid in our life until the day that this video hit, when you guys were going to draft this team. We saw a spark in his eye. We saw a change. And we've watched him move around, and then he got drafted. And that just, like, ticked up 10 notches. And so it was nothing for us to get in the car and drive 12 straight hours to come hang out. I mean, Jared, it was the coolest fucking moment to watch those kids hear that they could come onto the field, run out there, and shag balls during the home run derby. I mean, I watched a grown father-son weep and cry and hug. I got to shake their hands. And he was like, we drove 14 hours. My dad wanted to come watch this game. He wanted to come here and get on the field. And I was blown away, man. Blown away, because the field itself, the nostalgia and emotion around it is enough to get you off your ass if you're in the area and get you out there. Might not be enough to get you on 2 different planes. And as Johnny Gomes said, 2 plane rides, a canoe ride, a donkey later, and you're at the Field of Dreams. That's what it takes to get there. You better love the game. But when you get there, the payoff is unreal.
It was. It is very surreal to like get there and see it, and it's another thing to, you know, like be standing on second base watching it, like an actual baseball game be played, and you're like, oh shit, like I got a chance to score a run at the Field of Dreams, and then to do it, like that was fucking awesome. Like I was never getting on base unless I got walked or drilled, and I got drilled.
Shout out Evo Shield.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, I literally, for any real diehard starting 9 fans, I bought that Evo Shield as like a hardo prop on the Spikes Up Tour 2019. And if you go back to the YouTube channel and you watch the interview that we did with Luke Voigt, I am molding that Evo Shield to my arm during the interview with Luke Voigt in 2019, which I've never used in a game before, had it in my closet, and I was like, you know what? If we're going to play baseball, I might as well go full accessories. And I'm wearing the Evo Shield against Carl, who comes out to pitch, and he fucking lights me up right in the elbow, and I didn't feel a fucking thing. I was like, this is great. Thank God I packed the Evo Shield. Also, people were chirping me, oh, you're too good to fucking wear baseball pants and tuck in your jersey and this and that. First of all, we went to, no free ads, but we went to Dick's to get baseball equipment, and I bought what I thought were adult large baseball pants. Turns out, youth large.
Well, I'll say this. You held them up, and I was like, yep, that's you. But apparently.
They were youth large. They were, in my defense, they were on the adult rack. Like, someone put those on the adult rack. Like, I wasn't in the youth baseball
Have we
section.
confirmed that those weren't? Do we have a picture of a tag that tells us that they were a youth large and not an adult large, or we just have to believe you on this?
Put it this way. I tried to put them on in the backseat of a car, and they would not go past my ass. So,
what are you getting bottomed out in the parking lot at the Barstool Barn Burner?
Pretty much.
Putting your pants on in the back seat? Good God. We could have got you playing time. You didn't have to go that route.
Thank you. Everyone was saying that my jersey was too big. I was like, I wanted number 13. They originally gave me, I think, like 8, which was a large. And I was like, I want 13. And they go, well, 13's an XL. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. So they give me my number, which is an XL, maybe a little baggy, maybe not. And then I had youth large pants, so I couldn't put on baseball pants. So I was wearing fucking the Rocks joggers, and they served the same purpose. They were just black baseball pants. Fucking get over it.
You look like a fucking 80s mom banging out her Fondas at home with her fucking leggings and oversized sweatshirt.
Yeah, the fucking...
Give me 10. Give me 10, Rocky. Give me 10. We're living, baby. We're living.
The baseball fashion police were out in full force. Even Plouffe was fucking chirping me on Instagram. I was like, dude, I wanted to wear baseball. I love wearing baseball pants. I wore baseball pants on the fucking Spikes Up tour. I'm wearing roadie baseball pants interviewing Luke Voigt.
You did wear a full uniform.
Yeah.
People forget.
You don't have to give me an excuse to wear baseball pants. I fucking love those. And turns out, youth large. Okay, lesson learned. For next year. 'Cause we'll be back.
Oh, we're fucking coming, baby.
Yeah. We'll be back next year. And I don't know how it's going to work. I mean, we're going to have to do some extensive background search. Like, that is disheartening, to say the least.
Even the potential of that. Like, the last thing we need is a Black Sox barn burner scandal on our hands.
That's what we have.
And that's exactly where we're at right now.
You can't tell me that. I mean, he's probably, he's going to say? He's going to say, oh, I was really bummed out that I made the error that led to, the game being the 4-run lead getting blown in the 9th, and that's why I didn't want to come out. I didn't want to face my peers. And it's like, no, you were going back to Russia, weren't you?
That's exactly what happened. Because everybody there, hey, We celebrated our wins and losses together as a unit there.
Yeah.
But apparently this meant a little more to some of us out there.
Yeah.
Hate to see it.
Cheating fucks.
Hate to fucking see it. What do we got going on in the big leagues, Jared? I'll tell you what we got going on in the
What do
big
we
leagues.
got going on in big leagues?
You realize that Olympic baseball has started.
Yeah, Tristan Cassis, fucking Captain America, just mashing baseballs for Team USA.
Dropping diesel. Unfortunately, Team USA
Took an L.
not moving on.
No.
Not moving on. I got to ask you this. Do you think we ever get to a place? Well, let me ask you as a fan, would you rather have the young up-and-comers, impact guys sprinkled in with some veterans representing the nation? Would you like to see Major League Baseball try to figure out a way to take a hiatus for this moment and get the game's best there? Is there any way, do you think, that this is a possibility? Does Major League Baseball ownership group and the IOC, International Olympic Committee, ever get into a room, powwow, and figure out a way to make that a thing? Or are we just too far away from baseball ownership and their investments not being allowed to go and do that job under any other pretense without compensation or potential insurance coverage?
I'll tell you what, as a fan, I like, and I feel like it's not even really all of them, but I would much rather have the top 100 prospects forming Olympic teams than big leaguers. Like, I love when big leaguers participate in the World Baseball Classic, but as far as the Olympics go, like, I remember like that Olympic team that won gold that, Doug Minkiewicz was on back in the day.
Yep.
Like, those were, like, some of them became names, but at the time they weren't names, and they won gold. Like have that be a platform where guys like I just mentioned, Tristan Cassis is hitting bombs. He's the Red Sox top prospect. Like, I like that. Like, having, it's almost like the Arizona Fall League, but it means something.
Well, I like it. I like it because, and this is super cocky to say, super hardo to say, super asshole to say, and I don't give a damn about any of it. That is a badge of honor. Your country's best against our future. That's how good we are. That's how good we think we are. And that's just that's a mindset, right? That's a mentality. And I like that because our game's future, our big league game's future, consists of these dudes, these young studs, these absolute freak shows. Get them on this big stage early. Let them get that under their feet early. But our game is going to be in such a better place when these guys go through these moments and have this experience. They just become different athletes, different people. And then we get them to the big leagues, and they have those experiences to draw on. They've already kind of been on those stages, and the game isn't too fast for them. I like the idea of sending our future against the world's present and showing them we ain't no joke.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I
not like
love
it's
that.
not like the talent can't compete on a national scale.
Well, no, and here's the other thing. If we're being honest, we look at international baseball as 3A, maybe 4A league compared to Major League Baseball. And we feel, stateside, we've got a lot of young guys who could absolutely compete at a 3A, 4A level. So, are you going to have an option to get a Jacob deGrom off the New York Mets mound and get him on an Olympic mound? Well, if he was healthy, I still don't think that's happening. I just don't think that's happening. So the next option is to go to these guys, these amateur kids or these lower-level professionals, and let them ride it out.
Yeah. And like you said, it's not like they're not capable. I mean,
No.
these are very, very talented baseball players coming from all over. It's not like just Team USA we're talking about. Like, you could have a whole gang of Olympians coming from major league organizations and still put on one hell of a show. And I think that's kind of like what like put it this way, diehard baseball fans are the ones that are going to be watching Olympic baseball during Major League Baseball season anyway. And what do you think diehard baseball fans want to see more?
They
Like-
want to see their prospects.
Exactly.
That's who they want to see. They want to see the future. Trust me, Oakland A's, they have a shit ton of super fans. And because Oakland is in close proximity to Sacramento, which used to be their AAA team, but is also in close proximity to Stockton, which is their single A affiliate, folks will go to Oakland and watch a weekend day game and then get in the car and drive to Stockton or Sacramento, which is about anywhere from an hour to hour and a half, and go watch a night game of minor league baseball. And they do that all the time.
Yeah.
And those are the folks, to your point, who are going to be watching these games. And that's why having these up-and-comers, this fresh meat to salivate over, I love it. I like it. I appreciate it. So I'm not clamoring for the big leaguers to come and show up and dominate.
Nope.
I don't need an NBA Olympic team and how they do work. I mean, I just don't need that. Look at what the NBA guys deal with. Like, you got guys in the NBA and they're not winning, and folks are looking at them like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you guys can't figure this out. And in my opinion, basketball, much easier time taking 5 dudes from all corners of the country, sticking them together and getting a victory out of them, as opposed to just bringing baseball players out of everywhere, sticking them together and thinking you're going to get a victory.
Yeah, I think it's lose-lose anyway. I mean, if they lose, it's an embarrassment, and if they win, it's like, well, of course, they're the best players in the world.
Exactly.
And it's also just, it's more miles on the arms. I mean, it's different from basketball. Basketball is basketball, but I mean, it's more miles on the arms of guys that have $30 million investments from their organizations. And then, you know, when you're talking about prospects, I mean, these guys will be playing winter ball. Like, they're going to be playing baseball year round on their journeys to the big leagues. It's just another way to get more reps in, get better experience, and hopefully get your name out there more from like a global perspective. So, yeah, I would love to see the continued trend of top prospects going over there.
Yeah, I am more than okay with it.
Yeah,
I like that. I
want
appreciate
more of them. Give me more of these top prospects going over there. Fuck yeah. The Kumar Rocker situation.
that. Oh, man, Jared. There's so many different ways I can go with this, dude.
Yeah.
So many different ways I could go with this. Let's just kind of explain it so folks understand what has transpired here. Like, they need all the information, all right? So Kumar Rocker drafted by the New York Mets. Once that happens, the New York Mets have solely attained their ability to negotiate with Kumar Rocker. Nobody else gets to call Kumar and see if he wants to play. Well, you take a physical before the draft, pre-draft physical, pre-draft MRIs, and from what I understand, Kumar Rocker did not do that. Is that correct?
From what I understand, that is correct.
So when you choose to not take the MRI and you choose to not provide a certain level of medical background information, that then gives your drafting team, or the team who owns your rights as a player now, the opportunity to either not negotiate a deal with you, or at the very least, they have to offer you 40% of your slot money. So whatever the 40% value would be for an 11th overall pick, that is what the Mets would be required to offer at bare minimum. However, they decided not to go that route at all, which then leaves Kumar Rocker with a couple decisions. He can either go back to school to Vanderbilt, which ain't happening, as he said last night, or he could choose to seek employment in an international game. He could go overseas, like we've seen some potential draft prospects do in the past, very recent past. Something of note, Kumar Rocker, I believe, Boris representative.
He is.
Boris representative, the kid's name is escaping me, but went through this a couple years ago and decided to go to Japan instead of waiting another year.
And made more money doing that than he would have from his draft bonus, correct?
You bet your ass he did, Jared.
Yeah.
You bet your ass he did. So Kumar Rocker now left again. Decide school? Nope. I'm done doing homework. International Japan League? Nope. I think I like it over here and I'm pretty good and I think I can compete here. So he gets left on the outside looking in. because the Mets, having said we will not negotiate a deal with Kumar Rocker, effectively take advantage of, I don't know if it's a loophole. It doesn't seem like it's a loophole. It seems like it's very glaring. It's right there. The Mets don't have to give Rocker anything, and they now secure the 11th pick in next year's draft. So after all of this has transpired, the Mets spent zero money on Rocker, missed out on their 11th pick this year, but next year will receive an 11th pick. No harm, no foul. The Mets are in no worse position aside from being light their first draft pick.
That's it. And
Kumar
Rocker can't work.
Can't work.
In the big leagues.
In the big leagues. And this is and where it fucking burns me, Carabas, is Uncle Stevie Cohen jumps on the tweet box last night and basically peels back another layer of the onion for everybody to take a look at and taste. And how did that go over? Not well. Here's the tweet from Steve Cohen.
Oh, it's bad.
The owner, GM, the string puller of the New York Mets, took to Twitter to say, education time. Baseball draft picks are worth up to 5 times their slot value to clubs. I never shy away from investments that can make me that type of return. Wow.
Poor choice of words. I know what he's trying to say.
What's he trying to say?
I think so. Wait, I just had it pulled up right here. Where the fuck did it go? Steve Cohen. Okay, education time. Baseball draft picks are worth up to 5 times their slot value to clubs. I never shy away from investments that can make me that type of return. So I don't know how he could have. He should have kept this one in the drafts, first of all.
Yeah.
But I never shy away from investments that can make me that type of return. He never should have equated a human being to an investment that he can profit off of. I want to say it was Shane Green.
I feel like there's a certain mentality attached to that type of behavior.
Right. And I think just it doesn't – you can say – because it is what it is. Like when you are talking about an owner of a baseball team and you're talking about having to pay these monstrous salaries to them, like the biggest ones, like that's an investment. And the return on that investment is production that you would hope would lead to a championship. So it's not that it's inaccurate. It's just that it is when you put it as bluntly as that, it doesn't sit well with the actual human beings involved, and then it doesn't obviously sit well with the human beings who kind of see it from an inhumane perspective, where it's like, you know, these are people. Like we're talking about people here. We're not talking about stocks.
But that's how, again, this is the mentality of ownership across baseball. Ownership, frankly, across major sports, I would say, just by watching the way free agent markets work and things like that. Like, owners have never been in favor of relinquishing control and then putting themselves in a position to have to compensate. The owners are not a fan of that. So for them to speak as openly and as bluntly about the process of how this goes, that was Steve Cohen telling you, look, if I really felt like I was going to get the return, I'd make that move.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm getting that return here. I'm not making that move. So what's best for me here as a business decision is to take the 11th pick I'm going to get next year, let this individual, and that's the thing, is if I'm using the Steve Cohen approach here, I can't use that word individual because he doesn't see Kumar Rocker as an individual.
No.
He sees Kumar Rocker as simply an asset, as a resource. That is it. He is trading in commodities, and I've said this before. And in baseball and in sports, your commodity is a human being, flesh, blood, and bone. He doesn't see him that way, though. He's telling you that on his Twitter. These are simply investments, man. He's an investment. And if I thought that I could get out of him what I think I could get out of him, then I'd throw the 40% offer at him, the bare minimum 40% at him, and I'd see if he'd take it, and I'd be okay with it. But I'm not even okay with that. I'd much rather have this draft pick because it's worth 5 times more to me than whatever I would have to pay him.
Right.
And it's like, whoa.
And you're also just openly admitting, like, hey, I am going to wildly underpay you and benefit from that exponentially.
Exponentially. So he's telling everyone, you see this old ass antiquated rule that makes no sense and completely fucks the player in this situation? Well, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that.
Sure.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that. Anybody mad about it? Why are you mad about it? It's a rule. It's on the rule books. You don't get to be angry about the rule.
No.
It's on the rule books.
So
The flip side about this, just real quick, think about, there's got to be something in place, because if you drafted me, Jared, and I had the right to go, no, I don't want to go play with Jared. Anybody else want to sign me? Yeah, we do. Well, your favorite team or the most successful team or whatever, like,
it
that's
defeats
where
the
all
purpose of the draft.
Right, totally defeats the purpose of the draft. But the organization deciding not to take the player, or the organization having some buyer's remorse, if you will, or not being able to come to an agreement, that shouldn't mean the player is no longer allowed to entertain offers from organizations who might be willing to make that 40% offer, who might be willing to take whatever they can get in a Kumar Rocker, because maybe they're confident in their ability to get him healthy. Maybe they're confident in their ability to build him up and strengthen him to where he doesn't break down because of what the medicals have scared everybody else off.
Maybe they're willing to ride the storm, where it's like, okay, so we're going to clip him. We're going to lose 2 years of this guy, but we'll take 4 years.
Yep. And they're okay with that. Unfortunately, Kumar Rocker doesn't get that opportunity. And I would love for somebody to explain to me why.
So let's just say hypothetically that there were a system in place where to this situation in particular, a deal didn't get done because the Mets. A deal did not get done because Kumar Rocker was asking for too much money or whatever, because we have slot for a reason. Every single player in the draft, there is a slot value for each spot in the draft. And if Kumar Rocker is willing to sign for slot value and a deal doesn't get done, he should be able to sign with whatever team he wants after that.
Correct. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. And that is the problem.
Right.
Because
well, let me ask you
answer,
this. Let's say that situation plays out, because I think it would also, you would have to have like an arbiter, right? Like it couldn't be hearsay. It would have to be like a third party arbitration panel that reviews and interviews both sides, makes the determination that, okay, this didn't happen because the Mets didn't want it to happen, not because Kumar Rocker was willing to sign for slot value. So if he then doesn't sign for slot and the Mets are trying to sign him for under slot, and then let's just say he becomes a free agent, can he then only sign for his highest slot? That's
all these
not
mechanisms,
fair, I guess.
All these mechanisms are in place already. Everything that you just outlined is already in place to prevent any nefarious activity on a player's behalf, like to do that, right? So that's what this means. Hey, you're going to draft Rocker. Great. Where do we go from here? You're going to offer him a deal. He's going to go, or he'll go through a medical background check. He'll go through a physical. You will then offer him a deal based on those findings. From there, you negotiate and you have your business relationship. Sound good? Okay, great. If he doesn't want to do the physical, you as the organization then have power to take whatever number you would give him and reduce it all the way down to a minimum of a 40% for the slot that he is drafted in. Everybody okay with this? Everybody clear? Okay, got it. So if he doesn't take the physical, all we have to offer him is 40%, and then the ball is back in his court. Is that what you're saying? That's what we're saying. So Kumar Rocker said, not going to do the 40%, man. Like, that's not happening. Well, he wasn't even offered that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even get offered that. The Mets didn't offer him the 40%. They didn't put the ball back in his court. They kept the ball and said, we're not even going to check the ball. We're not playing. We're not anything. You're not going to shoot for take. Nothing. We're done. We're all done here. And so that's where Kumar Rocker is left going, well, now it would be my move. Like, if this is a chess game, you just moved and kept your piece over there. Now it's my move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you're telling me it's now actually a stalemate. Like, I don't get to move anymore. I have to either go back to school or I've got to go play internationally. I can't be a part of the game in my own country because you're choosing to keep the ball. That's not fair at all. That is leaving the commodity, the resource, with zero options.
Right. Well, he's got options, but they're just not anything close to what he had preferred.
It's not an equal option.
No,
that's the
it's
thing.
not. No.
It's not an equal option. You have to give me a lateral move here. You have to give me a lateral move. Lateral move being, if it's not the Mets, then you have to give me the opportunity to sign with 29 other teams that might be interested. And if it's a matter of them only having to offer me 40%, then you got to give those other teams that option. Because you're not giving the other teams that option. You're giving Kumar Rocker that option to sign with other teams. But, again, the mentality, Jared, the mentality of these ownerships say, no, if he doesn't want to play with me, he's not playing with anybody.
Right.
If he's not going to work for me,
he's our property.
He's mine. And if he doesn't work for me, he ain't working for anyone.
Yeah.
That
Something has to. I could easily see something here because he is such a big name. Again, this is a guy who was for a long time on every mock draft as the number 1 overall pick for a long time. It wasn't until maybe 2 months away from the draft, 2 months and change, that started to change. I could see the Kumar Rocker rule happening because of this, because there are a lot of people that are upset about this. And also, I don't know what you make of this, but well, I think you do know what to make of it. Scott Boras was trying to say that like the medical stuff was like a farce.
Well, that's where it becomes subjective, because your team doctor and my team doctor could have finished 1 and 2 in medical school, but you're paying your team doctor and I'm paying my team doctor. And that right there is the minute that opinions start to vary. Medical opinions start to vary. Oh, Dallas, that doesn't sound fair. That sounds kind of horseshit. Like, you mean to tell me that a doctor or a medical staff would actually disclose information or withhold information that would benefit the organization as opposed to just being truthful and transparent? Yep. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, I think it was John Morosi who had the news that Kumar Rocker will not be going back to Vanderbilt. He's what, 21 years old?
I think so.
So he had 1 more year of eligibility left and had the option to return to Vanderbilt to pitch for 1 more year, and he will not be doing that. So everyone by now, after Dallas's explanation, because when I tweeted this out, people were like, well, does that mean that he's free to sign with anyone? It should mean that. Sure.
Yeah.
It definitely
That's what
should
you would
mean
think.
that.
That's that. How about, it's that simple. The average fan's mindset takes them there. Oh,
Yeah.
well, he could sign with somebody else then. Because
Right.
that just makes the most sense.
Correct.
That's fair. That doesn't seem shady. That just seems like a normal second move.
Yeah. So he has decided not to return to Vanderbilt, which means that his options now are to essentially play overseas.
Right. Play overseas or go to a lab. Stay sharp in a lab. Those are your options.
Yeah. I mean, why not fucking go play overseas? I'm sure they'd be happy to pay him more than what he would have gotten from the Mets.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. Trust me, like, that's why it's a character mindset thing for me, and that's what I talked about with the kid who went over to Japan. Him and his family went over to Japan, met the organizations, talked about the routine, talked about how things were going to go. can you make this lifestyle work right here, right now? If what you want at the end of the rainbow is to get back here to the big leagues, well, we can offer you money, we can offer you experience, and we can offer you an opportunity to stay sharp and eventually live out your dream. How's that sound for you? You're just going to be doing it in a place where it's completely foreign to you. You okay with that? Because the baseball field's not foreign. Everything else, yes. Baseball field, no. If you're good with that, your future's waiting for you.
Yeah. What do you think he does?
I would believe that if, oh, man. You know what? Let me rephrase this. With what Boris said about the medicals, whether or not Kumar Rocker pitches competitively this year is something that impacts the statements surrounding the medicals. If he doesn't pitch this year competitively or does so in a small window, then I believe there's some credence you have to give to the notion that medicals might not have been everything the Mets wanted to see. Because if they raised that flag and went public with it, and Kumar Rocker doesn't go out there and work a full year like you would maybe expect a guy to if the option was there, then I think people would say, oh, well, maybe Kumar Rocker didn't go pitch because he knew he wasn't as healthy as he was. And if he goes and pitches and blows out, then what happens? Mm-hmm. He's not going to come back to the States and get drafted. He's going to miss out on that. So if Kumar Rocker sits out, I could see some people going, yeah, you know why he sat out? He sat out to get healthy. He sat out to clear up any issues that there could have been with an elbow so that next time around he enters the draft, he gets that MRI, he gets the pre-med pictures taken, and we don't have this issue again. Like, I could see that happening as well. So that whole statement about the medicals being a complete farce, that's big. That's big when you think about what Kumar Rocker's future is going to look like.
Yeah. I mean, because he's also got to protect himself at this point, right? Like, he's got to consider.
No doubt. Oh,
like
you insure that arm.
Yep.
You insure that arm if you can. And try to do everything you can to procure what you have going right now.
Yeah, it's I hope I hope he goes somewhere and pitches as soon as he possibly can. It sucks because, you know, to every point that you've made so far, I feel like this is the case. This is the name. Like, it needed to be a name like this. It needed to be someone that everyone, because that's the number one complaint that baseball fans have every single year is, I wish I cared more about the draft. Like, you know, these guys get drafted, no one knows who anybody is, and then they get drafted, and you don't see them in a big league roster for 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 years, whatever it is. It's like, okay, well, this time it's different. You know who the fuck Kumar Rocker is. Mm-hmm. You've known who he was for a while now. You've probably seen clips on Pitching Ninja of Kumar Rocker pitching at Vanderbilt. Well, now this is happening to someone that a lot of not just Mets fans, baseball fans were excited to see pitch in the big leagues. And now you're not going to get to see that. Not that he would. I mean, he is one of those guys that we've talked about in the past where does he get hot-shotted to the big leagues? Like, is he big league ready? Could you see him within a year of getting drafted? I think the answer to that is unequivocally yes. You could have, if he were healthy and he gets drafted, could you see him in the big leagues within a year? Yeah, I do think so. So now his career path has been altered because of a broken down, failed negotiation where the Mets have now put this man in a position to where he has to make a decision that isn't even remotely fair for him to have to make.
Well, and the thing about the medical stuff too, Jared, is you got to remember, players that are typically expected to go high in the draft oftentimes don't even participate in those pre-draft physicals, if you will, or the medical stuff. And in doing so, that makes all of that player's medical information available to everyone. To everyone. So they've all got the information that the Mets had, from what I understand. So if that's the case, then other teams would be already in a position, would be as equipped as they could be to make a decision based on the medical information, right?
Right.
So by not signing Kumar Rocker, the Mets, what do they keep? Almost $900,000 unspent money.
It's roughly $900,000. Yeah, it's like 847 or something like that.
Yeah, this is just it's a rule that has to change, man. It's something that has to change. And I think along with this we start to see draft picks getting swapped around too. I'd like to see that.
I think we'll see that next CBA. That seems like a no-brainer.
But I mean, with international signing pools and stuff like that, and how you're able to move money from one to the other, and there's a lot going on, man. There is a lot going on.
Yeah, and we'll have more on that as it becomes available. But for now, we're 14 days out, 2 weeks. August 16th is National Rum Day, and to celebrate our partner with Gosling's Rum, they've introduced the Endless Summer Pina Colada Cocktail Kit.
What?
Oh, yeah. I think Dave had a tweet about this earlier. We need to stop saying that, like, August is the end of summer. It's not. Like, enjoy August. Like, everyone's just like, it's August. Fuck, summer's over already. No.
Well, it's because our entire lives as human beings, once we get forced into the rat race of going to school, right?
Yep.
We got to teach everybody how to stand in line, how to take orders and direction, and how to work well with others, and when you can pull somebody's hair and all that. Like, you can't. This is what happens. You get forced into this shit.
Yep.
School starts, your summer's over. Summer's over. School starts. It just gets pounded into your head. Not anymore. I'm not telling to have a cocktail with your third grader. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm just telling you, you don't have to bury your summer. You don't have to put it to bed just because school starts.
You really don't. And you know what helps? The Endless Summer Pina Colada Cocktail Kit.
All in.
This lighter take on the classic pina colada brings in tropical flavors of lemongrass combined with the bold complexity of Bermuda's own Gosling's Black Seal rum. With each sip, be transported to an island paradise where summer never ends. You can have everything you need to make 16 of these craft cocktails delivered right to your front door by ordering on cocktailcourier.com. This limited time offer, only available for August. Use the promo code RUMDAY, RUMDAY, for free ground shipping. Don't wait. Use the promo code RUMDAY for free ground shipping on our Gosling's Endless Summer Pina Colada Kit on cocktailcourier.com.
I'm a colada guy.
Yeah, you have to be.
I'm a I like pina coladas. I like strawberry daiquiris. I'm a big fan of strawberry margaritas. Love me a good lava flow as well. Pina colada daiquiri combo.
Yeah. You got to be. You got to mix it up.
I'll get into it. Speaking of mixing it up.
Wait, whoa. I didn't see this. Whoa.
Yeah.
No,
mixing it up.
not that thing not what's on the rundown. This is not on the rundown, and this has startled me.
Something just pop across?
There was a rumor or a report that the Rays made an offer for Chris Bryant and Craig Kimbrell that included
Wander Franco?
Tyler Glasnow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Wow.
That seems odd. I mean, we haven't. Did we talk about it on the last one?
Well,
I don't think we did because I think we got the news was on Saturday and we recorded on Friday.
What about Glasnow getting clipped?
Yeah.
So we get the news that he will have surgery.
Yes.
What, 2 days ago?
Saturday.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Is that? Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So, because today's Monday. So we got that news 2 days ago. That probably, there was a conversation, you would think, before that about whether or not Tyler Glasnow had to go that road. As a medical group, you're discussing, hey, best case scenario, what do we got? Worst case scenario, we all know what that is. How do we feel about what this image looks like and what he feels? Guys, he doesn't sound overly optimistic about it. And if you want my opinion based on the pictures here, I feel like surgery might be the route we go. Okay, well then you know what? Let's see if somebody else wants to pay for that surgery.
Yeah.
Let's see if somebody else is going to be willing to take that on.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately how shit goes, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes. We love you. Always have. It's just unfortunate that right now you can't do anything for us. So
Nothing.
what does that mean? That means we're going to see just what you can do for us without being able to do anything for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any takers? If I throw a sex god out there on the market, are there any takers?
I mean, you'd be getting, I don't know how many years of control he has left. It can't be a ton, right?
What's he, second year ARB?
Let's find out right now. Tyler Glasnow, in the year of 2021, he's got 2 years of ARB left. So he's already lost. You're basically trading 1 year of Glasnow. Best case. Because, I mean, he's going to be out the rest of this year, obviously. They waited fucking 2 months to clip him in 2021. 2022 is gone. That's his third year of arbitration. And then his fourth year of ARB is 2023 before he becomes a free agent in 2024.
Fourth year of arbitration. Where are you getting this fourth year?
He's got 4 years.
Well, you got 3 years of pre-ARB, 3 years of ARB.
Not every player, though.
Would he medical shit?
I don't know what gave him the fourth year, but Ryan Yarbrough also has a fourth year of arbitration. And yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I know that there's a fourth option and a fifth option that can be found as well.
Mm-hmm.
I got a buddy who wore that one.
Yeah, that's
not happy when he found out that they had a fourth option for him.
So what did I say? Okay, so this is his age 27 season. So 28, 29. So going into his age 30 season is when he'll be eligible for free agency.
Yeah, like your second year of pre-ARB is like your pre-platform year. Your year before your first year of arbitration is your platform year. And then, boom, arbitration. And then it starts over. Your second year of ARB, pre-platform year. Your third year of arbitration, your platform year, because then that sixth year or that seventh year is free agency.
Yeah. So Glasnow gone this year, next year. Fuck my
Any
life.
thoughts on the Tampa Bay Rays putting your boy on the block like that? Just like he went from, I don't know, maybe that's unfair to say, but it kind of feels like they walked into the house and were like, ooh, that kind of smells. I feel like that could linger a little. We got to get somebody to take this out.
Mm.
And they wanted somebody else to wear it.
I mean, that's the Tampa Bay Rays. They don't give a fuck. Like, they're not. Like, when we have these conversations, I mean, the Cubs fucked it up too, but it's more.
But is Glasnow not a dude that you would like how we're talking about Kumar Rocker right now?
Tampa. Tampa, I mean, like.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I'm just saying, like, the mindset of a team willing to take on a guy who's going to go through the surgery and the rehab and stuff. And is it because Kumar Rocker at 21, they like his opportunity and chances of bouncing back and being effective, maybe more so than they like a Glasnow? Because maybe something that you have to consider here, Jared, as much as you might not want to, is the health is one thing. This is a guy who directly and vehemently correlated his lack of ability to use stuff that he had been using prior to his injury. So if I'm a team who's saying, all right, this guy got hurt, that is what it is, but he's been pretty vocal about feeling like he got hurt because he was forced to make these adjustments here that we're watching everybody else be forced to make. And so at the end of this, he's not going to be able to go back to the stuff he was using before the injury. So maybe who we have right now in an injured Glasnow is closer to who we would have after him getting repaired and rehabbing and getting back. And if that's the case, if you're the Rays, as cold-blooded as they are, they're saying, we're not going to be on the hook for the sex god rehab.
Right.
That's just not what we're here to do.
Here's what it was. Prospects were also a hang-up in the proposed Glasnow for Bryant Kimbrell blockbuster. The Cubs, sources said, would have wanted young talent to mitigate the risk of acquiring Glasnow, who is expected to undergo Tommy John surgery. The Rays communicated to the Cubs that surgery was a possibility. And this, of course, they announced it the day after the trade deadline.
Yep.
What would have been the point of the Cubs acquiring Glasnow, who will miss all of 2022 if he has the surgery, and then be eligible for free agency after 23, leaving them with only one more season of club control after he returns? For starters, even 1 year of a proven Glasnow coming off surgery is arguably a better bet than any of the prospects that the Cubs might have acquired. By 23, the Cubs might be on the rise again with some of the young players who entered their organization in their 8 July trades. Also, by getting Glasnow under their control, they would have gained the inside track at signing him to an extension. Glasnow, earning $44 million this season, is eligible for arbitration in 22 and 23.
Well, you look at how they've handled Rizzo.
Rosenthal.
Don't know that. What's that? That was Kimbrel. So look at how they handled Rizzo. A guy that we all felt if one of them was going to get an extension, if one of them was going to get some love from the Ricketts family, it was going to be that dude. Right?
Yeah.
So are we to believe that a guy that the organization is unfamiliar with in Tyler Glasnow was going to be able to come in there and, for whatever reason or however, pitch to the point where he was going to earn the favor of the Ricketts family and be extended? If Anthony Rizzo hadn't earned the favor of that family to the point where he was going to be extended to be considered a piece that you could continue to try to build around or help get you to where you want to go, how in the hell do you look at Tyler Glasnow as somebody who's going to fit that role? I would question that. I would seriously question that. Like 1 year of Glasnow is going to give you the warm and fuzzies to the point where you're like, you know what? That's worth fucking 4 more.
Yeah. No, that was never going to happen.
When everything that Anthony Rizzo has done for you wasn't enough.
No, they lowballed the fuck out of Anthony Rizzo. And for that, like, what type of, I mean, obviously you'd love to have a Tyler Glasnow extension if you're the Cubs, but like, what message does that send to the fans after the fact when it's like, you couldn't do this with Anthony Rizzo?
Right. Yeah, like, you're going to make this move on a dude coming off of Tommy John, also telling you that he feels like he had it because he can't use some stuff that's no longer going to be effective. Like, you're going to roll with that as opposed to what Anthony Rizzo has been for you this entire knock yourselves out. Go for it.
Glasnow, I think he's getting his surgery in Texas, and then he's going to be doing his rehab in Arizona. So I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to do some content with him while he's coming back. I know he's a psychopath as it pertains to how he prepares his body for on start day in the days leading up to start day. So I can only imagine how intense he's going to be during his recovery from Tommy John. Speaking of surgery, surgery's on the table for Fernando Tatis Jr. So I mean, I'm sure you can speak to this as well, Dallas, but
I want surgery. I need fucking surgery again right now after the fucking barn burner.
It sounds like a labrum issue here, where like that thing is just going to continue to keep popping out until he gets it surgically repaired.
Yes, it is called the integrity of the joint has been compromised.
Yeah, but
it is not stable. There is the structural integrity. So when you hear folks say, "Oh, it's all good," no structural damage. That's what they're talking about. What has happened to Tatis? Structural damage. There is a compromised strengthening of that joint. It's not good. Natural movements for him as an elite athlete are now compromised. That's a problem.
Yeah.
We've watched this guy have to change his swing, and he's done well doing so mid-season, mid-injury. Think about that for 2 seconds. Dude is a freak. All right? It's not easy to just start saying, you know what? I'm going to go to a two-hand finish here because that's going to take away my ability to get to the ball down and away. Might take away my ability to extend on pitches up and away because I don't have that one hand. But you know what? I'll do it. I'll be able to compete. I'll be fine. Well, now you have to start to consider what kind of impact this could have on him defensively, what kind of impact it has on him being able to get his work in through a season. And you would hate to see Tatis be a guy who has to turn into a show and go because he just can't physically do the prep work without putting himself behind the 8 ball. That's not what you want for him. Not at all.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you hope he can play through it and tolerate the pain, but then it just gets to a point where it's not, if you're not getting the level of production that you've become accustomed to seeing from him, then that's when you pivot to surgery.
Well, and the one thing, there's a couple things, I guess. He's a great athlete and he's in great shape. So the work that would be done leading up to the operation is what we call prehab. This isn't a shoulder, aside from it being his lead shoulder in a swing, that he relies on heavily outside of hitting. Like, sure, he's ranging with his arm. What I'm getting at is the recovery time because it's now August.
Correct.
What do they do? Is there a number? Because what do they sit right now? 4.5 out or 6 out?
Right now, entering play on Monday, the San Diego Padres find themselves 6.5 back of the San Francisco Giants, who hold a 3-game lead over the Dodgers. August 15th, quickly approaching, Dallas.
It is quickly approaching. I noticed that you were watching MLB Network this morning.
Yes.
And I was too. And you saw one of your favorite analysts tell you exactly what I have been telling you all season long about the Dodgers and whether or not where they will finish in the division.
Wait, who said it? D-Row?
You got it.
What did he say?
He said he's got the Dodgers overtaking the Giants for the division.
D-Row.
He said, right, don't we? Is what he said.
D-Row, come on.
Yep.
We got to get D-Row back on the pod. It's been 2 years.
Would love him.
The Angels called up their top pitching prospect.
Yeah, sure did.
Didn't go great.
Reed Detmers.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Well, I feel like it went fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, were you not pleased with it? I mean, I feel like you're going to take some lumps as a young fella.
Yeah.
Coming up, trying to spin some magic. Sometimes you run into a little bit of a buzzsaw.
Yeah, you do. I mean, that's a tough break. That's a tough break to catch the swinging A's in your big league debut. 82 pitches.
Yeah.
4 1/3.
Mm-hmm.
Only 6 hits.
Only 6'6". Did well. First punchy of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Olson.
There you go. That's
Go ahead and put that feather in your cap.
a big
Little
league
left on
ticket.
left. Yeah.
He hit a guy.
He did.
Who was that?
Who did he drill?
Mm-hmm.
He drill Canna?
Okay. I feel like he gets hit a lot.
Mark Canna gets drilled a ton. He's the all-time leader
In A's history.
in A's history for wearing them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure I'm not sure who he drilled.
Yeah. Couple of walks. That could be some big league debut jitters.
Oh, well, yeah, you drill a guy, a couple free passes, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But
the 6 hits, that's not bad.
it's not even the 6 hit. If it's not a complete and utter blowout at this point for the Angels on the mound, I'm taking it as a stride forward.
Yeah.
I just I enjoy a good Angels baseball team. I'm sorry. I do. It makes it fun in that division. Because every time I played the Angels, they had a good baseball team. And I had a kick-ass time competing against those dudes. I want to see it. I'm really curious. I want to almost hit the fast forward button on this draft for the Angels is what I really want to do. Like if I could jump in a hot tub time machine and go 3 to 4 years ahead in my hot tub time machine, I want to see where the 2021 arms race draft class for the Halos is.
I would say that, they've got to hit on somebody.
That's why it's so interesting. That's why I want to see it, man. 20 of them.
They've got to hit somewhere.
Who's getting to the top?
Mm.
Who is getting to the top?
I know Chris Sale's getting to the top.
Yeah, I was going to say he's knocking on the door.
Probably
knocking on the door. This is going to be a big mid-season acquisition for the Sox right now, for the second place Red Sox.
A lot of people saying
mid-second acquisition, mid-season.
A lot of people are saying that the Red Sox didn't do anything in the trade deadline. Not true. The Red Sox acquired, not even debatable, the best power hitter that was traded to the Boston Red Sox, and they will also acquire the best starting pitcher that any team in the American League will acquire after the deadline in Chris Sale. Those are two facts. Best power hitter, best starting pitcher to the Boston Red Sox after the trade deadline. And
I mean, let's pump the brakes just a bit.
no, that's a fact.
You absolutely acquired the hottest power hitter in the month of June in July. You definitely did that.
That's not true at all. I mean, the overall numbers. We're not even talking about months. The overall numbers are what they are. Overall numbers
are what?
That he is the best offensive player to change teams this year.
Oh, I'm not denying that. You said he was the best power hitter.
Well, even that's true.
And all I said was he was the hottest power hitter in June, and you guys got him in July. Are any of those statements false?
I think if you're trying to say that he only had one hot month.
I'm not trying to say anything. All I'm trying to say, those are just, if anything that I said there is not true, tell me.
Can you say it again?
The Red Sox absolutely acquired the hottest power hitter in the month of June in July.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he was the hottest hitter in June, but he was also the overall best offensive player to change teams.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Both can be true.
Yep. Chris Sale.
Both are.
Rehab start on Saturday. Looked great again. Probably one
Is Sale
going
to be on a? Is he going to be on a 5-day rest regimen? Is he going to be on a built-in rest regimen? What can we expect from Chris Sale? I haven't hit up AC yet about this. What could we expect?
Probably wait and see. They gotta see what he looks like.
Well, I gotta believe Cora's got plans. He's got a game plan, right?
I'm sure he's got a game plan. Yeah, they've been pretty tight-lipped about their plans for Chris Sale.
Could you see him getting the Shohei Ohtani treatment
once a week?
Like, well, yeah. I mean, he's not grabbing a bat, so yeah, like once a week, once every 7 days. Maybe they push it back a day because he had a laborious fifth inning where he threw 30 pitches, and they don't want to, kit gloves.
I know
kit gloves.
I know smarter teams kind of frown upon 6-man rotations, but I wouldn't mind one.
And why would smarter teams frown upon that? I feel like if you've got guys in that rotation who benefit from an extra day and the schedule allows you to manipulate that, well, you're a smarter team for a reason because you're doing that diligence and you're finding those things out about your guys. Because there's very real numbers that say this guy performs on 4 days rest like this. Given an extra day, he could be an animal that is lights out, or given that extra day, that could be something that screws this dude up. He's got to stay on turn because we've heard guys tell you, hey, I could pitch every 3 fucking days.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I
Numbers show that.
I think it's more so that depending on the team, depending on the investment for certain guys in your rotation, you want a guy that you're paying $30 million to start every 5th day. Like, you want more starts out of that guy. You want to look up at the end of the year and be like, yeah, he made 32 starts this year, and having a 6-man rotation would limit the number of starts that they can make over a full healthy season.
Well, I know the Red Sox are a smart organization,
Mhm.
and I know they're an organization who cares about health.
Mhm.
So maybe the Red Sox fire off some Nutrisystem
Yeah.
to Chris Sale. Maybe that's going to help him get back to where he needs to be. Saw you slamming the nudies out there in Iowa. And for you folks who are listening, you realize that the all-new Nutrisystem for Men is ready for you. Oh, it's here. It's a science-backed, high-protein program that is designed for you, for the men listening to this, for you. Deliver lasting results, long-lasting results. You can lose up to 30 pounds first 90 days. 30 pounds, 90 days. You just eat the food, lose the weight. That sounds like an ideal diet. Eat the food, lose the weight, into that. I don't know about you, Carabas. How you feeling? You feel like this is a supercharger for you, getting your day going?
It
Helping you
definitely
stay-
it gives me a boost. It makes me feel like I have put something in my body that is benefiting me.
Yeah, well, could you imagine anything being easier than eating or drinking something and feeling better, losing weight, getting healthier? That's a no-brainer. That's what we call a no-brainer. So what we need you to do, go to Nutrisystem.com/barstool50, barstool50. That's going to get you 50% off 2 months of food plus free shipping. So visit Nutrisystem.com/barstool50. Find out more about how you can start losing the weight you don't need today.
To my knowledge, I haven't seen any roster moves or anything. The last I saw, Tanner Houck had been optioned to Worcester, but Adam Ottavino just had him on his Instagram throwing a bullpen in Detroit where the Red Sox are. So now I'm confused.
It could be up.
I mean, why else would he be there? It's Detroit. I could understand if he was throwing a bullpen at Fenway coming from Worcester. That's easy, but throwing a bullpen at Comerica when you were optioned to Worcester, that don't make sense.
Well, it could very well be a this stuff happens, like that kind of stuff happens all the time, dude. Like I got great story. I got sent down in, where was I? I think it was in Texas. And no, it was in Detroit. I got sent down to Detroit. We were headed to Texas. They wanted me to fly to Texas and then get on an airplane and fly to Tulsa, Oklahoma, so that I could throw a bullpen and then fly with our AAA team to New Orleans. You want to know what I did?
What did you do?
Said, nah. You know what I'm going to do? You're going to fly me to New Orleans right now. I'm not going to fly to Texas with you, and I'm definitely not getting on a fucking airplane and then flying to Tulsa. So since you've sent me down, I've got 3 days to do whatever the fuck I want to get my affairs in order. You'll be sending me to New Orleans, where I'll be taking it easy in the Big Easy until the boys show up. And that's exactly what I did. I went to New Orleans and hung out for 2 days with the Fresno Grizzlies while they played the New Orleans Zephyrs. Had a great time. Boys showed up. I pitched 5 innings, threw 74 fastballs out of 76 pitches, and called it a day.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do all like the up down, travel here, be ready for this on a whim. I'm just too much of a routine freak, and all that stuff is just like fucks with your
Well, yeah, but
preparation.
that's all part of the, like, again, when we talk about the machine that is the minor leagues and how this is a system designed to chew you up and spit you out. And only until you get to a point where you can earn your financial freedom do you get to start to sort of dictate how things are going to go. But that 3-day rule, when a guy gets sent down, he has 3 days before he has to report to wherever he goes. I tell players, if you've got things going on, take advantage of that time. Don't for 1 minute think you owe something to that club. Like, if you want to get back on track and get things going, that's understandable. That's one thing. But if you need to take some time, like we saw Trevor Story do, and yank himself out of the lineup because the headspace is just not a place to be competitive in, by all means. Because when you're down there in AAA, getting your shit turned around the day after a long-ass flight, turn around, show and go, just trying to be the best guy you can for the team, they're not going to give a fuck when they hand you that plane ticket and tell you, sorry, man, we got a kid in 2A who's been throwing really well. Going to give him a shot. Appreciate your effort.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. And I feel like it's not talked about enough, like the human element of all that. It's just like, no, we turn on our TVs and you're there or you're not.
Yep, we're trading commodities, man. Trading commodities. We make fun of it all the time, and I could give a shit less, but I spent my fucking birthday sitting at the clubhouse of a big league stadium that I couldn't be a part of and be in, and then got it on an airplane because I was sent down.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. You were terrible, Dallas. Get out of here.
Shout out to fucking Maglio Ordonez. As we already mentioned, you already know, Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez all dealt at the trade deadline. They all homered in their first game.
You tell me baseball isn't romantic. Give me all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, what's the spin zone has already started in Chicago. Because, what is this? Daniel Greenberg, Chicago Cubs president of baseball operations, Jed Hoyer, said on whatever the fuck this is. What is this? ESPN 1000, Chicago, that he doesn't know why the core guys didn't sign extensions with the team. Hoyer, quote, they would say they wanted to stay in Chicago, but then we would sit down and negotiate. It wasn't how they acted.
Yeah, I mean, how vague is that?
I mean,
like you gotta give me
that's
something.
executive speak to say
that they countered. That's all that is. They countered.
Yeah, like we talked to them about signing extensions, and that could easily mean like, yeah, we lowballed them and they didn't take it. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, that again, Jared,
we don't know what the offers are.
We live in a world, and this is the thing, straight up. The people that consume that tweet and believe it are exactly who that tweet is meant for. That it's not meant to try to get you to believe anything else, or me, or people who understand what's going on. That's not who that bullshit is for. That bullshit right there is for the old Cubs fan who's going to come across that in 2 days and go, "Oh, well, it says here that they tried everything they could, and these guys didn't even want to hang out. They didn't want to stay. They don't have the love for the Cubbies that we thought they did." That's some bullshit. But that guy's probably 62.
Yeah.
He probably has no fucking clue what's going on. That ownership lowballs guys. Like, no. That fan still wants all of these players to just be happy that the Cubs were willing to pay them money to play baseball. That's where that fan comes from. Because, again, a comment like this tells you that you don't realize that the information surrounding this topic is out there. Like, Anthony Rizzo has friends, and he's going to tell them how shit has gone. Same with Javi Baez. Same with everybody. You think Chris Bryant, who was on Redline Radio and very forthcoming with how he felt about the game and how business had impacted his excitement about the game. Like, you think those guys aren't divulging the truth? Mr. Hoyer, you think those guys aren't telling people that you gave them the worst fucking offer imaginable? A complete slap across the face, lowball offer? Do you truly believe that that's something people aren't aware of? Because the only reason you say they wanted to stay in Chicago, but when we would sit down and negotiate, it wasn't how they acted. The only reason you say that is because you believe the people you want to hear that are going to hear that and believe that over all three of your players that are now in different places telling the whole world they got lowballed by you. There's a common denominator in this, and it's your cheap ass.
Mm-hmm. It is insane. I mean, like, that's, I don't know if that's like a trickle down from how the Red Sox used to do things. Obviously, Jed Hoyer coming from the Red Sox organization. But
it's a mentality that permeates throughout this game, Jared. One from so far gone long ago in our country that allows people to operate this way, where they think they can work in the shadows and fuck people over, all in a back room, sipping whiskey and smoking cigars, and walking out of there going, oh, they're not going to have, it'll be 2 weeks before they realize what we've just done in this room here, fucking these people over. No, the tweets have already been fired off before you've even left that room.
And it's just a different era now where players can just speak for themselves. Everyone has their own social media. Players can be like, yeah, no, we definitely talked, but they never made a competitive offer. I mean, they might have felt that it was competitive, but as it pertains to what other guys in the league are getting paid right now and what my agent, his calculation of what my value is at this age, based on my numbers, like it wasn't a competitive offer, and we wanted to stay, and they didn't want to pay us fairly to do it. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if they want to say we didn't want to stay there, it's not because we didn't like the fans. It's not because we didn't like the team or anything like that. It's more just we wanted to be paid fairly, and the Cubs felt like fair was well below market value, so we chose to go elsewhere.
It's still mind-boggling that people believe that this. What'd you say this outlet was that this quote came from?
Like ESPN 1000.
Yeah, like ESPN 1000, the Chicago Tribune. They don't control the narrative any longer, and they haven't for a very, very, very long time. You have the ability, to the extent that these players will let you in, to go to the horse and hear it from the horse's mouth. All of these players telling you they've been lowballed. So, again, believe who you want. Those tweets and that information, those statements from Hoyer, that's meant for the fan base that has been there for 30-plus years, 40-plus years, and isn't going anywhere. That's all that is. Because we all know different.
Nope. And I think Cubs fans are smart enough to know that. I mean,
I would hope
Cubs
so.
fans are smart enough to know that in a perfect world, that group would have stayed together forever. Like, I'm sure that core probably loved playing together. And
Is there anything to Jed Hoyer and company holding on to 2016 so tightly, thinking everybody else is still holding on to 2016 as tightly as they are, and is totally willing to take a little bit of a haircut to keep the band together? Because remember what we did 5 years ago with a very different team? We could do it again. Mm-hmm. Well, it feels like Jed Hoyer and company might be the only ones of that mindset. Everybody else had already moved on and realized things had changed, understood the viability should we all be together, but you got to come correct, Uncle Jed. And right now, you're coming at us like we're at the fucking Dollar Tree.
I think that there's something to be said about the way that things went with Rizzo's extension talks, where, I mean, he got lowballed so bad
Publicly.
if you're Javi Baez and Chris Bryant, you're probably looking at that being like, if they can do that to him, what are they going to do to me?
Absolutely.
So, I think it's a more than reasonable stance if you're Chris Bryant or Javi Baez to be like, I mean, like, I'll listen. Like, the door's open if you want to have the conversation, but I'm not expecting you to meet my number or to pay me fairly here. Like, if you just kind of dicked around Rizzo, the guy that is beloved more than anybody in Chicago, then why would you then come to me and meet my number if you're not going to meet his?
How would you? And that leads me back to the whole public availability of this information. Like, if you're the front office, do you not understand that your players realize the hierarchy that's kind of been put in place, right? Like, we give Rizzo this love, and the players are aware of that. Are you not aware that the players are aware of that? So they're looking at how you treat certain guys. Like organizations, we all know as players, they're going to treat the bonus babies, the first rounders, far different than they treat everybody else. There are guys in organizations walking around right now on fields in the minor leagues that organizations and instructors don't even consider worth their time and investment. High-profile guys. And then there's guys that are fillers, roster spotters.
Yeah. Well, it's the end of an era. Would you would you consider? I think there's a gray area, but would you consider that Cubs core a success? I mean, they have 2016.
Yes. So
you
yes.
get one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Yes.
But I think the gray area is kind of what I was talking about on Morning Wood. Is that I think maybe I'm not saying multiple championships, but they only got to that one World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not even saying that they should have won multiple titles, but like that Cubs team should have at least been in another World Series. And I feel like, 2015 was really the year that they announced themselves. And then 16 is when they won it. And then after that, they were never really like a threat to win a championship again. It was
everybody was okay with it too.
Yes.
If I'm being real, everybody was okay with it.
Yes,
and I'm not saying everybody in the Cubs. I just mean baseball.
Well, I don't even think that it's that. I think, and I've referenced this quote a bunch of times. I'd love to go back and be able to find exactly what the phrasing was, but I believe it was after they got eliminated in 2018. John Lester alluded to there being complacency amongst the Cubs.
Yes.
Like,
yep, I
we
remember.
won in 16, and I feel like there are a lot of guys that are essentially like okay with that one win, and like that's it. Like we're not as hungry as we once were. There aren't guys here that are dying to win another one. Like, they were just like, hey, we did it. We did it. All right, cool. And that was it. So the answer is yes. The core was a success. They won a fucking championship for the first time in 108 years. But as a fan, I feel somewhat unfulfilled because that was a group that you looked at and you were like, this team is built to do what the Dodgers did essentially. Like,
well,
you're
this
either
hurts.
in it or winning it.
The sell-off hurts. And the sell-off, I think, can get you to a headspace that says, was that even worth it? Like, we only got one. Was it even worth it? I would just ask Cubs fans, remember how you felt on the day that the banner was raised. The day that they got the rings. Ask yourself, as a fan, was it worth it? I believe the answer would be yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it left me wanting more. Like, it left me.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I was very happy
because they're good enough. That's a run. When we talk about a window, there could, let's say it's a 5-6 year window. You would love to have 1 or 2 World Series in that. That's probably greedy. But if we're gonna get one ring in there, I'd like a few trips. Give me a DSCS as well. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it left me wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
It was a success. It left me wanting more. But that's the end of an era. Those guys move on. Obviously, Kimbrel not a part of that championship core, but a nice little return for the Cubs in that regard. So this is kind of like a two-parter, and I think we know the answer to the first one. At the end of the year, do any of those 3 guys come back to the Cubs?
No.
Who do you think is most likely? Chris Bryant?
No, man. I don't see any one of them. If I'm being honest, like,
I mean, the percentage can't be 0.
Why can't it be? Why can't it be? The Cubs had their tribute tweets fucking locked and loaded.
Yeah, they were all ready to go.
Locked and loaded. And you might be saying, yeah, you want to know why? Because we wanted to show them how much we loved them and let them know that there's a place waiting for them after all this bullshit's said and done. Well, if that's the thought, you never let them leave in the first place. You got 3 of them that you could be keeping around.
Yep.
You don't keep one of them around? Wouldn't it be easier to attract one of the other 2 with one of them there under a long-term deal? So you could say, no, we're very real about keeping the core here. So much so that we're going to keep one of you and lock you up so that when we come calling after the last pitch in the World Series, you know how serious we were about keeping you guys together. Yeah. We financially kept the one that made sense at the moment so that we could financially maneuver and get you both back here. I don't see.
Is there something to be said about not falling in love with the championship core, though? Like when you have a team, I mean, there's probably
the San Francisco Giants are guilty of it.
Right. Yeah, they are. Is there something to be said about not falling in love with a championship core, and especially in the Cubs example here, it's like, there's probably never been a more beloved core to a franchise in Major League Baseball since the core four with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't, and they kept that core in place forever, and they got one at the end too. I mean, like, you could say.
But see, the Cubs would have to operate the way that the Yankees did,
right?
And that's what the Cubs aren't doing.
No.
They're not. But
the Ricketts
supplementing
could
the
afford
core.
it. The Ricketts could afford it. Why I think it's so frustrating is because you didn't build this core in a market where it's like we can't afford to keep all these guys here.
The margins are too great today, though. The margins are too great. Like there's too much money to be earned without having to pay these players as much. The margins are, in my opinion, they've probably never been greater.
Yeah. So they could have kept all three. They keep 0. You don't see any of the 3 returning to the Cubs. I don't either. I don't think any of them come back.
Like if the Mets gave Javi the same offer the Cubs did, see you later. If the Giants give Chris Bryant the same offer the Cubs do, see you later. And if anybody gives Anthony Rizzo the same offer the Cubs would, see you later.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like you don't slap those 3 across the face the way they did and expect them to just revisit under normal circumstances.
I agree. Do any of those 3 players re-up with their new teams?
Don't sleep on the Giants because they understand where Longo's at.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sleep on them because they understand, and Gabe Kapler especially understands the value of a guy that you can put in left field on Friday and third base on Saturday. That matters.
That's big time. I could see Chris Bryant staying in San Francisco, but I think Anthony Rizzo has already spoken publicly about being willing to sign an extension with the Yankees.
Fucking hang with what I'm telling you right now, man. Yeah. You go to these first class organizations and they're gonna roll it out for you. They're gonna roll it out for you. I mean, Chris Bryant's family in the hotel room that they were in had jerseys, swag, gear, everything already there waiting for him. They had the jerseys personalized and made for his children. Like it's just cool. It's a no-brainer for them. For how the Giants do business in that regard about as well as anybody. And when I made the comment a few minutes ago about the Giants being guilty of falling in love with their core, that's coming from an endearing place. Because as a broke-down athlete, you appreciate people who ride with you, regardless, right? They're not worried about the production right now. They're able to see the value that you've brought, and they're not just going to throw you out on your ass for that.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for that. I'll tell you this much. Just to give you an insight, to what degree, Dallas, do they do this? Willie McCovey, God love him, was at a point where he wasn't able to be as mobile around the ballpark. Had to be wheeled around, at times on a bed, like a gurney, right? And the Giants accommodated him along every step of the way, holding elevators, pathways, keeping people cleared, bringing him into areas where he would be able to interact, and whatever Willie wanted, the Giants did for him. And that just, man, it's a beautiful thing. And when I think about doing business, that mindset leaks into making sure guys know that they're appreciated, that they're cared about, and that they're respected. More so than just being a tradable commodity. More so than just being labeled an investment.
And that's great. That's great that they do that, because if the goal is to sign Chris Bryant long-term after this season, I would imagine that something as little as leaving the jerseys for the kids and the family, that goes a long way.
And let me ask you this, if you're Craig Kimbrell on the South Side, and you've been thrust into the position that he's in now, in that division with the hopes and expectations surrounding that club, should they sweeten and fatten the deal? Does he have any issue playing second fiddle to Liam Hendriks?
I think those guys are interchangeable.
I
And
agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Like, I don't think that one is greater than the other. I mean, Kimbrel has been fucking outstanding this year. He's literally having his career year in his age 33 season. But, yeah, I think because Kimbrel has already done that with Chicago. Until he started really dominating this year, he was like, yeah, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Liam's obviously been in that position before as well.
So do you like Kimbrel
long term? I mean, of course, yeah. Like, you'd love to keep that bullpen together, but I don't know that the White Sox allocate those dollars to a relief pitcher. That's just
you don't
not
think
their
so?
MO.
You don't, even after giving Liam that fourth year,
especially because they've already done it with one guy. Like, I was surprised they even did it with Liam. I mean, it was a need, but it just does not fit what they've done historically. Unless they're like, hey,
but
like,
you got to
that would be
branch
the
out.
way- yeah,
That's it. You got to make those moves, and so they
Yeah.
made one. And the reason I asked Jared is because if this plays out and Kimbrel and Hendricks are successful as a 1-2 in the back, and you get to where you want to be, you get to October, and
they
you're
win a
holding the
World
piece-
Series. Yes, it's like
Then that's what I'm getting
how
at,
could we
bec-
break these guys apart?
because
Yeah,
I'm telling you, and because of conversations I had with folks around the ball club, like, you watch. There's a reason why I continue to punch White Sox Dave in the face with that fucking game against the A's, is because I told him as it was happening, this is what you need. This is what you're missing. What Liam Hendriks is about to do to you guys right now, you don't have that. That's why you're going to lose this ball game. That's why you're not going any farther than this. So you're staring your future right now in the face. I told him that on the fucking live stream. You're staring your future closer in the face right now. If you want to get any farther than this, what would they do? They went and fucking got my guy. They went and plucked him, Jared. And now, Kimbrel. So, identifying what you needed, watching it play out to your benefit, I feel would be that little prod that the front office would need to go, look, I like what the lineup looks like right now. I like what our future looks like right now. We see the value of these guys at the back end. Let's go ahead and sign this fucking stallion up.
Yeah. I would like to see it. I believe they still have the vesting option for next year, though, too. Unless
yeah,
that's
what is that an appearance thing? An innings
based
thing?
on, I think it's like 100 appearances over his first 2.
2 years?
Yeah, and then it's vesting. There's something else that makes it vest as well, and I'm also not sure if the vesting option is, which I didn't see that anywhere, but sometimes that's a thing where like any type of vesting option is just gone.
Well, yeah,
Right.
because it's per organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit of teaser action going. You want more focus and energy to perform your best on the diamond? You need Teza Performance Energy pouches packed with powerful herbs and vitamins. Teza nutrient pouches provide oral stimulation with penetrating flavor. They have 7 delicious flavors and 14 product options, including pouches with and without caffeine. Drinking with the Teza in your mouth is even better because it takes all the flavor overall product experience to another level. Try a flavored seltzer with a cherry or mango Teza, or a Teasantini. Ooh. It's a martini with a mango habanero Teza pouch.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Teza highlights include no tobacco, no nicotine, no calories, no spitting, no mess, fresh breath, and cuts cravings for snacks, oral tobacco, cigarettes, sodas, mints, and gum. For a limited time, the first 100 people to purchase $50 or more at TezaEnergy.com and use the promo code WELLS. That is WELLS. The fuck's that?
No idea.
I don't know what that means. We'll still
No
receive
clue.
a signed Teza hat. Is that like David Wells? I think it is. Isn't he doing stuff with Teza? I think he is.
He is. That's exactly what it's for. So, for a limited time, like Jared said, first 100 of you sons of bitches to spend 50 bones or more at TezaEnergy.com and use the code WELLS.
Yeah.
You're going to get that free signed Teza bat.
Boomer. Some series previews here. Dodgers Astros locking horns again.
It's a
Get
big
your
series for
fucking
me.
popcorn ready. Starts on Tuesday. It is. It is big for you.
big series for me. Like, I very well could be watching more Dodgers Astros baseball than I watch A's baseball.
Oakland
And I'm
A's
calling the
4.5
games.
back right now. 4.5 back of the Houston Astros. The Oakland A's, it looks like they have a 2.5 game lead over the New York Yankees. That was actually just stunning. I clicked on the wild card and I was like, why are the Red Sox there? And it's like, oh yeah, they lost first place. I'm just not used to seeing that logo when I click on the wild card tab.
That's
3 up on the A's, which is nice. How do you feel about this Astro series? Who's going? Lance McCullers? You got McCullers, Bueller, Odorizzi, Scherzer on Wednesday. Oh, baby. Odorizzi, Scherzer on Wednesday. That's going to be hot. I can't wait. I'm tuning in for that.
What? Give me a line. Give me Max's line.
6 1/3. 6 1/3. 5 hits, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts.
All right, we'll clip that off. I got him going 7.
7.
7 strong, just 7 solid. I'll go 7. I'll go 7 with 10. I'll one up you.
10 punches.
7, 1, and 10. Same thing. 7 innings, 1 run. I'm going 10 punches though.
Okay, I like
I think
that.
someone might someone hunt a heater, ambush him, laying in the bushes, take him deep, whatever. Solo Johnny, that's
Yeah.
fine.
I want to bump up one more. 6 2/3. 6 2/3. 5 hits, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts. I'll stick with everything else. I just want one more out. He's gonna get one more out. 6 2/3. 5 hits, 1 earned,
I didn't give a hit total.
9 strikeouts.
I'll go 7. I'll go 7 innings. 7 innings. You said 5 hits?
5
7
hits.
innings, 4 hits.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's got some swing and miss. I'm going to one up you on both sides.
Yeah.
One
how many,
less
how many
knock,
walks? How many walks?
One more punch.
How many fucking walks?
None. He's fucking
No
done.
walks.
No
I'm with
walks.
you. No walks. I'm with you in the walks column. That's it. No walks.
Friars, A's.
Yep. Tuesday.
Little quick 2-game piece here.
Mm-hmm. You got Blake Snell on Tuesday, who just posted some fire kicks on his Instagram. If you want to go check that out,
Did he? What are they?
that's on his Instagram story. And then Jake Musgrove.
Well,
Joe
I can tell you
Musgrove.
that they're not as sweet as my Barstool barn burner kicks. I can tell you that.
Those are pretty dope. Are we auctioning the cleats?
Yeah. So what we're gonna do, for those watching, you can see the logo behind Jared right now. That is our Barstool barn burner logo. The homie Alex Katz, who is actually a reliever for Israel in the WBC, or not WBC, excuse me, the Olympics. He's got a company, Custom Stadium Kicks. Shout out to those guys who put together an incredible set, like quick, ridiculous turnaround. But those cleats that I was wearing for the Barstool Barn Burner, I am going to sign one. Jared's going to sign one. And we are going to try to figure out a way either, I don't know if it's an auction deal. I think it might just be a giveaway deal, like, auction, whatever. But we're trying to figure out a way. We've got some potential assistance programs that Jared and I are ironing out some details on, that when we're able to generate funds, we have a place for those funds to go, and we have people that can use some help with those funds. There's also going to be a couple bats that you probably saw from Johnny Gomes that are going to be up as well. So stay tuned for that. But I just had to make sure those dudes got some love, because those kicks were fucking nasty.
Dope. They gave you the ones and the cleats, which was dope. Final thoughts before we get out of here. Jose Barrios. What was it? 6 innings, 6 shot with
6
7
innings,
Ks?
6 shots, 7 punchies.
Yeah. That feels like a good
They
feels
needed
like a
it.
nice little pickup.
They needed it, man. They needed it. Like, you're not going to get the CC effort, like give me the ball 10 minutes after I just threw the last pitch of the other game I just completed, like he did for the Brewers in 08. You're not going to get that at a Barrios.
No.
They're not asking for that at a Barrios right now. But to get that, the 6-inning shut piece, like, that's got to be a huge, huge relief for that lineup.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are thinking, now we ride. Like this offense that we're able to create, this stuff that we're able to generate here, this shit's going to matter. It's not going to be in vain. We're going to start making some headway here, boys.
Yeah.
I would love for that performance to incite that friendly competition we see happen sometimes between starting rotations where guys just say, oh, that 6th inning shut, that was cute. You know what I got? 7 2/3 dialed up. Let's go.
Yeah. I think there's one other thing we need to touch on, and that's Joey Votto.
Wow.
Still
Grab your green
bang.
hat. Let's go streaking.
Yeah.
How many in a row, Carabas?
7 in a row, 9 over that streak. The Reds won 5 of those 7 games.
Thunder.
Joey Votto in that 7-game stretch had an OPS pushing 2,000. It's 1908. Yeah. His OPS was the year that the Cubs won the World Series before 2016.
And not to mention, like, I believe at the beginning of that stretch, maybe it was a little earlier. Like, Votto pumped 2 jacks, and then after the game was
I was like, I'm trying to hit homers.
Was running it. Well, he said that, but didn't. But him, he was running like a baseball camp, right?
Yeah, there was. I think
him and Stroman both, like, not at the same camp, but Stroh, like, went out and shoved like 8 innings dominant, and then after the game was like pitching at a baseball camp, putting on a camp for youth.
Votto was like throwing BP to kids and like doing, like teaching kids. Yeah, he homered on July 20th. I think it might have been after that.
Okay.
Then 2 days later, he started the 7-game home run streak, which is a Reds franchise record. And then he went homerless on Sunday. So the streak is no longer active, but you're basically seeing vintage Joey Votto right now. Like, he had an 11-homer month in July, and this is a guy that, I mean, build the fucking statue. Someday, Joey Votto will have a statue in Cincinnati. He's 37 years old, and he's got a 927 OPS this season.
Shout out to him and Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, a lot of black ink. When you go check out the Joey Votto baseball reference page, a lot of black ink there. You'll love to see that. Is he a Hall of Famer? You bet your fucking ass he is.
All right. Great weekend at the Barstool Barn Burner. Again, shout out to the Field of Dreams movie site. Shout out to everybody at the Field of Dreams and their amazing crew. And, Jared, it just wouldn't be right if we didn't acknowledge the work of Brinstagram.
Yes.
Our girl Bryn is a fucking magician, people. I don't think you truly know what's on her plate at all times. Jared's very busy. We're busy as a group with Starting 9. We got a lot of shit going on. And for Bryn to finally be able to do what she came to do and do what she does and not have to do that and like 17 other different things, you're going to be blown the fuck away by what this girl has put together for you fans with the video content, with how everything went out at the Barstool Barn Burner. So a special thanks to Bryn, because without her visions, without her direction, a lot of the stuff falls flat. We're probably scrambling, trying to figure shit out, and Bryn knocked that sumbitch way out of the park. Kelsey as well. We had a lot of folks on the production side who I just met for the first time who, if I'm being real, probably way too stoned to remember their names. But I love you all the same. Shout out Johnny and Booze. Sorry about that trouncing the Buccos handed the Phillies. Had to raise it at dinner time. But what happened in Iowa does not happen without that group of people, as well as their extensions, their teams as well. So I just want to be on the record as saying thank you for making a dream of mine come true and turning that into reality, not only for me, but for all those other babbling bitches that were out there on a baseball field, just completely amazed with the work that everybody did. So thank you very much.
Well said. All right, we'll see you later in the week. Enjoy the week of baseball, and we'll be back on Thursday.
We go!